So earlier today, I spoke about how having to return to working with the clients in person would be like a very significant pay cut, probably the biggest pay cut I've ever taken in my life. And I thought I would plug in some numbers to demonstrate what I meant by that. So right now I'm in Phoenix, and most of my clients are in Seattle. Now, I won't make judgments here. There are nice things about Seattle. There are nice things about Phoenix. I kind of belong in Phoenix just because of my personal chemistry with how I interact with others. But that's another story for another time. Phoenix is significantly less expensive than Seattle. I would say the rent for the same kind of unit would be about, I want to say about 25% less. So the same unit that you're renting for $1,000 over in Seattle probably will go for $750 here in Phoenix. That's my best apples to apples comparison. Obviously, if I move to Seattle, I'll probably downsize quite a bit. Seattle is much more social compared to Phoenix, so it's not nearly as uncomfortable to live with somebody there. But I got a client, let's say, and I'm working with him in person, right? So we draw this table, and I'm sitting here, and they're sitting here, and we're working in person. And who knows, right? Now, I have to drive to my client, right? So here's my car. I got to drive there, and it might be 20 to 30 minutes each way, right? You think about the times that kids like to have tutoring. It's not like it's at 3 a.m. where there's not a whole lot of traffic, right? People like to have tutoring right after school when a lot of people are getting home from work, right? And so right off the bat, so over here in Phoenix, where rent is $750, and I was working remotely, and I was getting paid some number of dollars per hour, right? And I'm hate to give out my actual numbers, but I'm spending 1 hour. That part I don't mind giving out. Now over in Seattle, I'll have to spend 2 hours for that same tutoring client. But here's where it gets even trickier. When I was working with the client over Zoom, right? Let's draw out the Zoom terminal here. When I was working with the client over Zoom, I'm very good at multitasking. Oftentimes, I'm actually getting a lot of exercise in the background, right? I'm sometimes standing up and lifting weights and getting some exercise, right? I have a favorite weight that I love to lift. I think you guys will probably know what it is, what it's made of at least. So getting exercise. So I'm not really spending an hour. I'm spending more like half an hour on that student because I'm actually getting some multitasking done at the same time, right? And it's really helping my tutoring. I can't imagine trying to do that across a desk from a client over there, right? Now, if the client lives 5 miles away, which is not all that uncommon over in Seattle, right? We got 10 miles, and it costs like 50 cents to drive every mile, right? So we got another $5 right off the bat. So you can see, instead of making some amount of money every half an hour, I'm making $5 less in 2 hours, and I have to spend 25% more in living expenses over there, right? And here's the big kicker. In 2020, when we took a pay cut, we also got a tax cut to go along with it, right? This time, when I take the pay cut, my taxes stay the same. I'll let you figure that out. But it's like a 90% tax cut, and not surprisingly, a lot of people are resigning from their jobs, right? And I think this is going to be a big shocker to the economy that a lot of people have not thought about.